It's Thursday, and you all know what that means. If you probably can guess, as you probably know, TNA, or as you probably guessed it right about now, we are getting closer and closer to Slammiversary. So battle lines are now being drawn, but also, of course, we're going to see what's going to happen before we get to Slammiversary. And then, of course, we move on with Ring of Honor, featuring, of course, a women's pure wrestling rules match. We have Serena Deeb versus Becca. But the main event is the number one contendership for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. Who will be the lucky individuals to take on the Sons of Texas? Will it be Top Flight, the very talented brother duo, or will it be, of course, the infantry of Shane Taylor Promotions, Carly Bravo and Captain Sean Dean? Well, we're going to see and find out. And as always, we will, of course, wrap up our episode with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere in the world pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us, so click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough with the jibber jabber, so it's time to go straight for a home run. So let's begin, of course, with TNA. Okay, TNA. We are now on the road to Slammiversary as we get closer and closer. Battle lines are being drawn. A lot of things could happen before we get there. So we opened up seeing Indy Hartwell making her way to the commentary table because she is going to be commentating one of the matches featuring the Inspiration, Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay to take on Victoria Crawford and Tessa Blanchard. Now, for those who remember, recently there's been some very interesting tensions between Indy Hartwell and Tessa Blanchard. Now, Indy, of course, has some history with Tessa in the past, and now it seems like Tessa's thing with the past with her is insignificant at all. Well, is no longer insignificant to her in her life. So probably you can guess that that's what happened. But however, due to the fact Indy being there, it caused a distraction for Tessa. And this allowed for, of course, the Inspiration to apply the Idolizer onto Victoria Crawford, allowing for the Inspiration to win. However, later it broke into a brawl between both Indy and Tessa, and then when security separate them. But however, Indy made the announcement that she wants Tessa at Slammiversary. So That's going to be a very interesting thing to watch. Now, we did see the members of the Order of Four, the, the Great Hands and Tasha Steelz, made their way to the ring because, as you know, last week, the TNA world was surprised and shocked to see the arrival of Cedric Alexander, a friend of Mustafa Ali's past. Now, of course, Cedric Alexander has been observing what's been happening with Mustafa. Now, if you guys haven't found out what's been going on with Mustafa, a while back Mustafa was in a war against Mike Santana, and he lost, and he was going out in a miserable way. And Cedric Alexander is trying to tell him to stop being miserable. But they brought on some things from their past, and I think many of you remember there was, of course, their WrestleMania moment where they opened up the show and John Cena praises them. But however, it seems that Mustafa hasn't forgotten, so he was demanding that he gets a rematch from that, which will happen in Slammiversary. And then, of course, Ali's security decided to attack, but luckily both Alexander and the Great Hands decided to take care of that. So you probably can see where is it going now. So we'll see what happens from there. Now, our next match, we have the TNA Knockouts World Title in a chains match between, of course, former tag partners Killer Kelly and Masha Savage. Now, as you all know, recently Killer Kelly came back. Now, some of you probably ask yourselves where she's been. Well, behind the scenes, of course, many of you may or may not have been aware of, in Killer Kelly's personal life, she was pregnant and she was out. And of course, now that she's back, they're resuming this whole match. Now, if you guys haven't remember, their biggest feud that they ever had prior before becoming tag partners were in fact in a chain match. And I don't remember if Masha won that one. I'm not 100% sure, but yes, I know I reviewed it, but I cannot remember. So you probably can guess there was going to be a lot of, brutality in this match, and it kind of did. But Masha used the rope to choke out Killer Kelly, and just like that, she had to tap out. But of course, during the post-match, the Fatal Influence attacked Masha, because later it was foretold that in Slammiversary, the TNA Knockouts World Title will be defended in a winner-takes-all match. However, here's the interesting part. This coming Tuesday, of course, we're going to see Jay-Z Jane taking on Jordan Grace and for the NXT Women's title. Whoever walks out between those two will face Masha at Slammiversary. So that's something we're definitely going to see. So whoever Masha faces in Slammiversary, well, that's the person we're going to see. So we'll stay tuned for that more. Now, recently, as you know, the Northern Armory has not picked up any racking wins recently. So Eric Young was trying to be more of like, you guys are not showing me squat. But of course, Judas Ikra, who I like to call a pit bull, well, he seems like he's eager to prove him wrong. And of course, Eric Young told him, show me. Now, Mike Santana, as you know, is one of the 3 competitors that will be, of course, competing for the TNA World Title and Championship at Slammiversary. So he's making a promise that he will bring back this belt, but not only to TNA, since you know in Slammiversary, this event will take place in his hometown in New York City. So that's something we definitely could see, but we'll just have to wait. Now, our next match, we have Eddie Edwards versus Matt Cardona. We have recently been seeing there's been a lot of problems. Now, as you know, some people just don't like outsiders. The system don't like outsiders. And that was the problem that they've been dealing with for a while. But of course, we did see Alicia Edwards try to get involved on 2 occasions. The one, she tried to grab Matt Cardona's leg, but the second time, she left a ring in the corner side of the ring for Eddie Edwards to grab it. But however, Brian Myers showed up to stop him from ever using it, and because of that, it cost Eddie Edwards the match when, of course, Matt Cardona applied radio silence, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. However, when we thought that everything was about to cool down, out of nowhere, no one in TNA expected these guys to show up, and they just did. We're talking about, of course, Dark State. No one expected them to just appear and attack Matt Cardona. We just don't know what their motives were, unless they're sending a direct message to TNA that no one in both NXT or TNA are safe from them. Who knows how that's going to turn out, but I'm sure TNA are probably going to figure that one out themselves too. Now, we saw an attack on the hometown man. Sami Callihan was trying to cover, of course, a hometown man's face, calling for help. We don't know who it is. I mean, what's his name? Matthew Winroll believed it may have been the system who they had to deal with, but I don't know. That's something we just don't know who it's going to be. But I would say, to me, it had to be the Northern Armory. Now, Steve Maclin made his way to the ring because, as you know, he has two targets coming at him for a shot of the TNA International Championship. One is Mance Warner and the other is Jake Something. Now, of course, both men know that he's right there. However, things went out of control when Mance Warner shoved Jake Something right through Steve Maclin, and all hell broke loose from there. And then Maclin started attacking Jake Something, leading to this match. I would like to say this match might have ended in a no contest. And the brawl continued in the back until, of course, what's his name? Steve Maclin said that he's willing to put the TNA International Championship on the line in a three-way. So I'm not sure if Santino will grant it, but I'm sure he'll make it happen. Now, our next match, which is our main event, we have Zachary Wentz versus Nick Bennett. Now, as you all know, both the Rascals and the Bennett brothers are in a four-way ladder match for the TNA World Tag Team belts. Now, of course, Trey Miguel is not involved in this. He was still hurt. But, of course, in this moment, you would have assumed that Zachary Wentz would have picked up the momentum. But no, Nick Bennett's brother, he is Nick Bennett's brother. The end. Yep, Ryan Bennett decided to get involved, and this allowed for Nick Bennett to apply, of course, the danger zone, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Nick Bennett picked up the win. Now and then of course the show ended with Frank Kazarian introducing a brand new thing in the ring. I don't know what they call. I forgot what they call it. He called out the three competitors that will be involved in the main event in Slammiversary. We're talking about the current TNA World Champion Trick Williams, Joe Hendry, and Mike Santana. So as you probably know, there's a lot of tensions coming in, but in the end, of course, we did see Frankie and Trick beating down, of course, Mike and Joe Hendry, and just like that, we don't know what to expect here now, but we do know that Joe Hendry and Mike Santana will team up this Tuesday, so stay tuned for that. But as of right now, we are officially done with TNA. Let's move on with Ring of Honor. Okay, Ring of Honor. We opened up with Wheeler Yuta versus the Sauce Alex Zane. Now, many of you may know who Alex Zane is. He's a wrestler you may have seen in the Independents. He did have a bit of a short time in WWE for a while until he was released. But of course, many of you may know him as part of the Monster Sauce tag team with Lance Archer. But now he is facing Wheeler Yuta. And of course, we all know Wheeler Yuta with his reputation as a member of the Death Riders, taking out anybody that stands in his way. And the only way he took him out, Alex Zane, is of course with the boot psycho knee, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. Now we did see the return of Spanish Announce Project, Serpentico and Helico taking on Ricky Gibson and Eddie Pearl. Many of you who know these guys in the Pacific Northwest as, of course, Midnight Heat, which they never called them that. But of course, this match was definitely going to go with, of course, the Spanish Announce Project when, what's his name? Angelico applied the Navarro lock onto Eddie Pearl, and just like that, Eddie Pearl had no choice but to tap. Now, the frat party were, of course, in a bar having a good time, doing their usual drinking and stuff, until the Dark Order showed up and decided that they were going to play their little game of Flippy Cup. Of course, but the stipulation is that if Dark Order loses, they pay the tap. But if the Frat House loses, they have to pay the tap. And of course, in this segment, we did see that the Dark Order won, but the Frat House decided that Dark Order pick up the tab. But what no one didn't know, if you guys ever seen an episode of the Viva La Bam, where, of course, Johnny Knoxville put the tab in front of a uh, what's his name? Johnny Knoxville used the tab on Viva La Bam. Well, that's exactly what they did. So basically, Alex Reynolds told the bar guy, like, put it on Griff Garrison's tab. And then, of course, the infamous words, who the F is Griff Garrison? So I'm sure Griff is going to be so pissed. Now, our next match is a women's pure wrestling rules match. We have Serena Deeb versus Becca. Now, if some of you are not familiarized with Becca, Becca has been traveling the world in different promotions, like Germany, here in the States, wherever. So basically, as you know, Serena Deeb is one of the most highly likely wrestlers that could win the upcoming ROH Women's Pure Wrestling title. And that's exactly what she tried to do. And of course, she applied the Serenity Lock on her when she tried to dismantle Becca's knee, and that's what happened. But during, of course, the post-match, Trish Adora was there taking notes because she knows that Serena Deeb is a real deal. So we'll see what happens from there. Now, our main event is the #1 contendership for a shot of the ROH World Tag Team belts at Supercard of Honor. Whoever comes out the winners will face the Sons of Texas, Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes. And we have the Infantry, the Captain Sean Dean and Carly Bravo taking on Top Flight, Dante and Darius Martin. Now, of course, these two teams are fantastic. I mean, they are talented. And I think many people might have banked on Top Flight. But unfortunately, Trish Adora tried to get involved in this. But luckily, Layla Gray took care of it. But unfortunately, this match ended with that scumbag Lee Moriarty using the ROH Pure Wrestling title onto Dante, and then allowed for Dean to, of course, pin Darius. And just like that, they're the #1 contenders, which is, many people would say, is a load of horse crap. But if I was the Sons of Texas, I'd keep an eye on those idiots in the first place. So we'll see what happens until then. So we still got a little bit of time until Supercard of Honor, but we'll see. But as of right now, we are done with all the reviews. Let's move on with some news updates. Alright, so welcome to our news update. So this is what we have. As you know, Deadlock Pro Wrestling has their upcoming event on July 13th with Tag Festival. They announced a tag match for this particular day. We have, of course, Adam Priest, who is our current world champion. He'll team up with To The Moon. Yep, Trevor Lee, formerly known as Cameron Grimes. They take on Jake Something and Beast Mortos. So that's going to be an awesome tag match. Now, as you all know, there's going to be a big event, of course, in Corkin Hall with Sendai Girls. As you all know, I mentioned this. Yu and Miyuki Takase are officially signed with, of course, with Sendai Girls. However, their respective tag teams, they will face off each other for the upcoming Sendai Girls tag team belts. And, of course, we have the... let me pull up the card. This one was revealed by what's his name, Scott Edwards. I know I have it here somewhere. Here it is. Now, as I said before, this will happen on July 19th in Corkin Hall. Match number 1, we have a singles match. We have Sayaka Kurara taking on Manami. Then match 2, we have that 6-woman tag team match. We have Ryo Mizunami, Unagi Sayaka, and Chi-Chi. They take on Lady Destroy, Hiroyo Matsumoto, Yuta Uzuki, and Zones. Match 3 is the Sendai Girls World Junior Championship. Aya Sakura makes another defense against Yuna, who recently she defeated her last month to retain the championships. So we'll see what happens until then. And then match 4, we have Aja Kong and Venny teaming up. They take on Baba Momo Banana. Yes, they're back. Yurika Oka finally teams up with her tag team partner Miyu Momono. The semi-main event is a hardcore match. We have Azuki versus Dash Shizako. And then finally, our main event is the Sendai Girls World Tag Team titles. The current champions, Red Energy, Mika Iwata and Miyuki Takase, defend their championships against Team 200 kilograms. Shihiro Hashimoto, who is also the world champion, and her tag partner Yu, they are the challengers. So that's pretty much what's going to happen on that day. Now on to some developments. Now, two different reports have come in about this recent past Wednesday in AEW backstage. It was revealed by WrestleVotes that Isla Dawn, it was at the AEW backstage during tapings. Now, I think some of you may think, is there a possibility that there is indications that Isla Dawn could be someone they would like to sign? I mean, yeah, there is the possibility, but we'll see. I mean, I'm sure there's those. And then also, she wasn't the only one. It was also revealed by Fightful Select that Fred Rosser, who many of you may remember him as Darren Young in WWE, he was also at the AEW backstage as well, despite the fact he's a New Japan star. But we do know that, of course, AEW and New Japan have a strong relationship. So we'll see how that would go down. So if there's anything about signees with these two guys, I'll let you guys know. But as of right now, that's pretty much it. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, I did been aware now that we have the latest New Japan event, New Japan Soul, and this one features, of course, the last two open spots of the play-in for the G1 in both the A block and B block. We do have, of course, what's his name, Rohei Oiwa facing somebody, and Chase Owens versus Yoshihashi. So whoever walks out will get the open spots. But the main event is the IWGP Global Championship. Hiroshi Tanahashi makes a play for this title against Gabe Kidd. So that's going to be interesting to watch. So I can't wait to see it. If there's any other promotions I want to review, I'll let you guys know at some point. But as of right now, the top priority is New Japan. So until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ chat. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.